Hey guys, just a real quick disclaimer before you guys start watching part 1 or 2 of this. I'll put this disclaimer on both of the videos, but basically I forgot to pull the curtains when we were filming. I know it's like such a simple thing, but it made such a huge impact on the video because the light behind us, the sun, the natural sun, was moving constantly that day for some reason. And so the lighting changes like every 5 seconds. So there's going to be spots that are a little more brown, that are a little too dark blue. There's going to be some totally normal ones. So just, if your eyes can bear with it, the next time I will remember the curtains. But yeah, so if the colors are constantly changing, that is why. I am sorry, but I just want to throw this disclaimer in there. Otherwise, hopefully content-wise, you guys enjoy. Good evening, Paradise Squad. So today's Let's Talk is an interview with Wendy Stanton-Phillips. And I'm excited because I haven't done an in-person interview yet, and it should be fun. So let's talk, guys. We've kind of talked about this a little bit. This is kind of like really important. This is actually like the most important part for me. So the letter, the entire episode, they're making Mary, they make her sound like she's crazy, that she's mean, like she's evil, that her husband, so okay, you had said at some point during your interview with him, Zach, that the couple did not get along well. Mm-hmm. But it was sort of just that. They didn't really dive in.
You stuck together on a rock.
Well, and then Zach kind of like took it and ran with it as like she was evil and he hated her in return, and did he kill her? And it just spun out of control they didn't get along, and there's a letter saying, I wish I was on my meds and I didn't do things right? But like what I got was so different. Mm-hmm. And granted, I was not there. I was not in the energy space, but I've never had an issue picking up this stuff from a distance. And what I got was a very sad, depressed woman. Very sad, depressed. And not like the depression where it's like aggression and anger and like crazy. It's
like the energy was sucked out of her and she was trying to
defeated.
Put it back in.
And I feel like, so what people don't know, if you've never dealt with someone in a severe depression, especially when they have long-term depression, don't at me. If you've never been through it, you don't know. But as someone, as a loved one that watches this person, at some point you get to a frustration level because not only are you frustrated because you can't help them and they won't help themselves, especially when she's saying things like she's not taking her meds, she wants to take her meds again, but you are literally losing the person that you care about. If you are a husband and a wife and this woman is now spiraled herself to where she's not taking her meds, she's so depressed, she's fucking crying all the time, and now their connection is gone, and his life has to revolve around making sure she's okay, making sure she's safe, making sure she's better, and her life she just gives up on. It becomes frustrating and it becomes aggravating, and it's not an anger like I hate you anger, it's an anger like why are you not trying to make this work for us? Why don't you want to take your meds? How can I help you?
And so he starts being at the lighthouse and doing all of his chores and jobs because that's all he's got at that point in time.
Right, and also like there's a difference between anger and frustration. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they come out the same. Yep. Sometimes your tone is more abrasive, sometimes you're just more exhausted, and they come out similar, but it doesn't mean that they have the same intention behind
exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think that it is very, very hard to be with somebody who is constantly depressed like that, because
and she wanted to not feel like that. You know, they didn't have a whole lot of resources back then, and she loved her husband, he loved her. But we all know that at times we can get to that point where it's like, man, I don't want to say anything. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to eat my dinner because I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong thing.
Right, you don't want to trigger an episode.
Exactly. But the sad thing is she was getting a new lease on life. She didn't kill herself. He didn't kill her. She took the dog for a walk. And if nobody has been to that place, they have no clue what the wind is like. And they didn't have fences around it back then. The wind blew her over.
So now here's the thing. I have not been to the site, so I'm not going to make any sort of assumption as to what... I mean, I'll make an assumption, but I won't say I know what happened because I wasn't there now. Energetically, if you physically saw it, felt it, that's totally there.
I just was in shock as I stood there and just...
Yeah, I know that boy did not kill his wife. I can guarantee you that.
No.
And I think, too, that, like... there's also an element of like she didn't take her meds. So even at the highest level of anger, if there was any level of anger from him, it's more of you don't love us enough. We're not worth enough for you to take the fucking medication.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if you don't feel good, if you would just care about us enough, you would take the medication. And I think that was the highest level of anger I felt it on any level.
Yeah.
I didn't feel anything. Like, they tried to make it sound like he was gonna like murder her. He hated her.
He didn't.
There's a scene.
His heart was totally broken.
Yeah, and I felt that crazy.
He was never the same after that.
So you kind of sort of almost touched on it, and I kind of tried to shut it down because I didn't want to get there yet. But so you had mentioned that Zach was sensitive and that he was weird though, or like I don't remember how you worded it, but
his is very unique.
So here's what. Okay. Now, all these little girls are gonna at me right now. This is what's gonna happen. All the GAC. Is that what they're called? GAC? GAC, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
But why the C? Ghost Adventures. What's after the C?
I don't know.
You'll have to let me know.
I call it GA.
What if? Listen, here's what happened. I have seen enough episodes to get the boy is an empath.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard anywhere publicly, and you guys can tell me or send me links or something if they have announced it that he is gifted. But I have nowhere seen, heard, read anywhere that any of the crew claims to be gifted in any way, shape, or form.
No.
And so,
that's my knowledge either.
What I witnessed was definitely an empathic experience. So they're going over EV. It wasn't EVPs. It was Ghost Box. I think they were going over the Ghost Box voices, right? So they're sitting there, they're playing it. And you just see Zach. He's just on another level out of nowhere. And he's, throughout the episode, kind of saying that something entered him and that he felt it. That's not what happens. That's so fucking rare.
He's just feeling it.
Right. For the record, that is almost never happens. It's very rare. It's a totally different vlog, but that's not what happened to him. That boy's an empath.
Oh, yeah.
The way that he picked up and I've seen it happen in other episodes too.
He can feel the frustrations and the angers and all the different things that surround.
But he's so empathic that he doesn't just sense them. He engulfs them.
Feels
which, by the way, is very dangerous, and you should probably get a handle on that. And the thing is, I did hear something out of Aaron, which I was impressed by, and I appreciated. I don't know if anyone else caught it in the episode, but at some point, it escalates. Okay, so at one point Zach just gets up and he kind of wants to throw something. He takes a minute, he leaves, whatever.
Yeah.
Later in the episode, though, they're filming. So the Mary, we're assuming it's Mary, is crying on the stairs, which Zach can physically see.
Yeah.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, as a result, he sort of channels the husband who says, "Get up." He took it as an evil thing. I'm thinking he's just fucking sick of her crying on the damn stairs. Get up, let's do something.
Come on,
enough,
let's move, let's get out of
enough
here.
of this.
Yeah.
So that bothered me that they took that as evil when he's just fucking frustrated. Here we go again, crying on the fucking stairs.
And that's part of that poor spirit's issues. He was so sick of everybody assuming all the worst for all those years.
Right, and you know what's weird too? I actually highlighted this in the notes to her that I sent that she didn't get a chance to read. So this is all white, and then this is bold. Because I actually, when I was typing it, I wrote, I think she was crying on the stairs because that's what she always fucking did, cry as usual. So I said, "Get up." That wasn't me. I don't write. I do say the F word everywhere, but it was an anger. When I was typing, I could feel the anger, and I genuinely don't. I think he was just this is what she fucking does. She fucking cries on the stairs.
He would come home and find her sitting on the stairs. He would come home and find her staring out the window upstairs or the window downstairs. And she was to the point where she's like, "I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this. I have to change something in me."
Right.
Because he was staying away, and she would go out to the lighthouse to be with him.
Right.
Because he was out there so much, and it was not in the house,
Yeah.
So, and they had this little dog Toto or whatever its name was, and so she'd take it out and about. And that would be frustrating. You come home, you've done your job, which is not like now.
Right.
I don't know exactly what his job encompassed, but I saw a big, huge light that he had to physically deal with. And what do you do?
Right. I mean, at some point you're just gonna be like, "Get up, enough." And
Come on, we gotta go.
It sounds insensitive if you've never been around it, but if you've ever, like, and I've been on both sides for the record. I've been in severe depression myself. I've been suicidal myself, but I've also been on the other side, having to live with someone else like that.
Yes.
And it's just not so simple to just be like,
Both
oh,
of
well,
us.
that's me.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it's not that simple. But with Zach, so he originally he gets up, he's like wants to hit something, he takes a breather. Right. Later on, he catches her crying on the stairs, the spirit, and he yells, "Get up!" Another crew member walks in immediately, and he flips him, like he just flips it, like, "Get out!" Like he's going straight after this guy, and you can kind of see it's not quite right, but in his interpretation that someone had come in his body and taken over. I think he just straight up full on empath that, and
I just felt it so strongly, and when you're in the middle of a feeling, you can't just shut them off.
Well, you can, my dude, but you got to learn how to do it. And
but I mean, like your own, even you're like, okay, come on, chill out. You can't just
we can't do what we're not.
Just like quick, it takes a minute.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah,
but I think too, if he was aware, like if he actually made it aware of himself, okay, I'm an empath, like a high empath, by the way. He's not like a sensitive empath. He's like an empath. He would need to actually make an actual effort to learn his triggers, his control, like when, like there are things that you can learn to like start picking up, especially if you're going to be in that field all the fucking time like that. Yeah, he needs to do some work on that. This is my personal opinion.
Exactly.
But I do think that this boy is more gifted than he's giving himself credit for. Yeah, and I think that it's going to make him sick. To be honest, I mean, respectfully, I think that first off, empathy is the hardest gift. It is. I have it. My kids have it.
I have.
Your kids have it.
I'd say 2 at least have it.
And if you can't get control of it, it can consume you.
Luckily, Heather has figured out, and she, when I ask her, "Can you help your brother?" It's a hard one. It really is, and it's like 90% of the time I'm okay until something so major happens. Like that one week, I wanted out of my own body. Something was coming, something was big. I was getting hit by everybody's emotions at work, and I was just kind of like, I don't want to be in here, let me out. And then 3 o'clock the next morning, everything hit. And I'm like, okay. And he said, I was prepared. I wasn't sure who, why, what, where, when, and how. Okay, I'm okay now. Now let's try to deal with the fallout of what all that was going on. Sometimes you can control it, sometimes it is so overpowering.
Yeah, and there's a difference too, guys. So he may just be. So she's talking about a different kind of empathing. There's people who empath the living. There's people who empath the dead, and then there's people, unfortunately, like myself. He could just be the empath for the other side. He may just empath spirits, and maybe he doesn't have to deal with the day-to-day stuff. I don't know, but definitely what I saw was empathing, and I think that it's something that it's interesting and he should look into.
It can be very painful both ways.
Oh, absolutely.
I have sat there and felt somebody being shot.
I felt a lot.
Yeah, it's like you don't need.
And this is going to have to be a totally different vlog, you guys, because this is kind of crazy. But within empathing, not only are there the living empathing versus spirit empathing, but like she's saying, there's physical empathing versus mental and emotional empathing.
They're telling you their story.
Right. So there's one thing of like you're feeling their sadness and you're feeling their frustration or whatever, or you're, feeling a dispute between 2 people, but you're not quite sure, versus physically, like walking through a cemetery, and all of a sudden you just literally feel the heat and the pain of the leg, and you can't stand up. You're like, what the hell is happening?
Oh, okay, got you.
Actually, you guys, so in Clackamas Town Center, that's just rough.
Yeah.
So
I always cry when they go down to that, and I know somebody who was there.
Yeah, I have. So wait, okay, if you're not from Portland, we had a mall shooting, a mass shooting.
2012.
Yeah, one of our malls had one of those mass shootings that was like on national news. I go, but I don't even remember I'm doing it. I'm just walking through the mall, minding my business, and then all of a sudden, every time without fail, I could feel all.
I don't like it. I'm uncomfortable there. I cry.
I try to avoid Macy's at all possible.
I don't want to. I don't think I've been in there.
Oh, I don't go in Macy's, but even just walking because the food court comes through there. But and physically, like my chest, it's so yucky. So yeah, I mean, residual energy is another vlog.
Very strong.
But yeah, that kind of stuff. I was fascinated watching him. I was just like, the dude is gifted. Like, I've never heard a word anywhere that they claim to be gifted. But I think he has gifts.
Oh, he does.
So he gets mad. He goes after them and he says, like, get out, whatever, right? But then they paint him even more as a bad guy. Because now he's yelling to get up off the stairs, and now he's yelling at the crew to get out. And what I took as it is two separate, completely separate things that just happen to coincide at the exact same time. So I feel like there's a dynamic that the husband has with his wife, which is this frustration, sad, oh my God, get up, enough of this shit already.
Yeah.
I love you, but I'm exhausted, right? And there's that frustration that Zach picked up, and almost simultaneously, those guys walked into his space, in his house.
In the middle of doing his thing.
Right. He's already pissed off at the wife, like, not in a pissed off way, but like, get off the thing. But what I think you guys have to remember is, this didn't just happen yesterday.
Nope.
And mental illness just now, I mean, just in this last few years, is just kind of sort of almost
being dealt with, looked at.
Right, where it's like just now kind of becoming a non-scarlet letter thing to
exactly.
own. Right?
Yeah.
And so imagine back then, it was like so
they
evident.
were locking him up.
Right, and so you've got this man who's already a private man. I can feel he's already a private man. That's why he's out in the middle of fucking nowhere with his wife, right? You've got a very private man with who has mental health issues, clearly. He doesn't want people in his business. He doesn't want people judging his wife. He doesn't want people looking into their thing. So this is
he just wants to do his job and live his life.
Right. So this is already his nature. Okay, as a spirit, as a whole person, as a soul, he is this way. And now you've got these boys digging through his dirty laundry, airing it for the world, making assumptions about him.
It's already been bad enough.
Right, making assumptions and accusations about him and his wife that are inaccurate. And now you're trampling through his fucking house and waving shit all over. Of course he's gonna like, get out of my fucking house.
Just stop.
Right.
First off, I couldn't go because of you guys. Now you're here. Just go.
So I feel like they took two completely different dynamics. There's a frustration with my wife and a yes, I'm fucking pissed, get the hell out of my space.
They may not have even done it.
No, I don't know if they did. I think it literally just coincided right at the exact same time, and two totally different dynamics happened simultaneously. And it just made it look so much worse. But I don't think that's how it was. And I feel like they should have kept you on longer, to be honest with you, because I
felt like I was on there an awful lot when I look back and look at other episodes. It's like, and I've had more than one person say, wow, you were on there for most of it. And I'm like,
what I don't understand is, A, why they don't have the gifted people in the investigations. I feel like you need to be there. I mean, when I consult, I'm in the whole thing. Exactly. I can tell you exactly what that meant, why they said it, how they felt, what it looked like as it was happening. I don't try to guesstimate later after I'm reviewing it. You know what I mean? And then at the very least, they should have you present for the review so you can say, that's not really how it feels.
That's not how it was.
Right. Instead of making their own assumptions.
They kind of disconnected certain parts and didn't put some really important things that explain other things.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, well, I'm not the one that's sitting there going, we have 42 minutes and we're now at 39. You know, I'm like, yeah, but you needed this and you needed this to make those two things almost make sense. Okay.
See, here's the thing I feel like is stupid. I'm just going to be real with it. I think that they're so hooked on the niche of terrifying people, right? Everything's evil and demons and so
everything is not evil, and you can have
so little is evil.
You can have a person come across and such as angry. That doesn't make them demonic. That doesn't make them a negative. It just makes them very frustrated. And if you feel like you're stuck in this place for 100 and whatever years, you're constantly hearing that you murdered your wife killed herself, it was all your fault. Even as a spirit, whether you're on the other side or however you want to look at it, you're going to be frustrated, and it's going to come out.
Right.
He wanted help. He just wanted to be done.
Right, and I can totally see that. But here's the thing. I feel like, especially today, in our society the way we are now, if you're looking at a production value aspect, y'all been done with the demons and shit. I'm just saying, we don't care anymore. But also, I feel like the story is way more fascinating when you right. Well, the truth, and also there is this woman in a deep depression. Her husband is reeling over it. He doesn't know how to handle it
because they don't talk about things like that back then.
Right,
you're insane.
But now you have the chance to actually expose a very relevant story.
Yes.
And it's a fascinating story. And I think it's something that people can relate to and support and have empathy for and actually be like really engulfed in and mix up with the history. I feel like that would have been a way better episode.
Because
then, are they demons and are they mad and are they hate each other and did he kill her? Fucking, that's so boring and done already.
You know, one of the things is, you know, back then, it's like if you were female and you were having these issues, you had female problems.
Okay.
We're going to lock you up now because you have a vagina.
Which he did not do, by the way.
No. But being out there in that lonely place did not help either of them.
They put her in hiding.
Right? But at least they didn't lock her up and put her in ice cold water and drive her completely insane and do a lobotomy and all the other things they like to do. It was so powerful and overwhelming. I was sure I was either going to pass out or get sick. I wasn't sure which one, maybe both. They're going to haul me out of there.
The stairs.
Yeah, that's what, when I sat, I told Corey, I'm like, I got to sit down. He's like, are you okay? He was worried. I'm like, I'm not sure what's going on here. It was like a 10-minute thing. Luckily, they only showed you 30 seconds of it. That was way more than enough. But then I went over to look out. And I guess I got a funny look on my face. And he asked me, he goes, what's wrong? And I'm like, I can't believe I just saw that. I literally, and this actually ties in with the end, towards the end, where they show the people crawling up the walls, or the rocks, the people in the white and stuff, like sailors.
I don't know if I lost a person.
It was like towards the end, and they showed that. That's what I had been seeing, is these poor sailors trying to climb the rocks to save themselves, even the rocks sitting out there and whatever. And I was holding on for dear life. I was like, I couldn't believe I was seeing that. I was like, oh my gosh, you could just feel it was horrible. I wanted to cry. I wanted to just help them, and I couldn't. You can't help, because they're not really there anymore.
Right. So, okay, so what she's talking about, so I fixed it. Here's what happens sometimes with spirits, and I wasn't there, so she got it way worse than I obviously did just being a viewer. But this place has a lot of history, so when you have a place with a lot of history, we talked about the natives. What we didn't talk about was this place had it's the Pacific Ocean. Right, so there were so many shipwrecks and sailors and people that just washed up and died and crashed and all that stuff. So you've got regular crime that probably happens out there. You've got the native situation that they explain. You've got the sailors and all the shipwrecks, and then you've got this dynamic. For whatever reason, when I watched it, I just tuned into the married chick and her dynamic. I kind of didn't feel anything else, but you were physically there, so she had to feel all of it. She had to you can't.
I asked to open up. I'm like, I need to be.
That was what she was there for.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I stood there and looked at that, and I'm holding on to this rail inside, and he's like, what's going on? We went down, we went outside, and I'm holding on. And it's like I'm seeing, and I explained to him, I'm seeing these people climbing up and out, trying to get out. And he goes, can you hear what they're saying? And I'm like, no, all you can hear is the ocean. I don't know if they're saying anything. And actually, I can't remember if it was Corey or Zach asked me if I heard him. It's been almost 2 years. I'm old.
I don't remember Corey.
Corey was my producer that went with me. He filmed a good portion of it, like in the lighthouse stuff. He's the sweetest guy. And it's like, I just hear the ocean. They're trying so hard to get out. And one of them said, you know what this is called? And I'm like, no. They're like, it's Dead Man's Cove or something like that. And I'm like, oh. Fitting. You see these people and you can't help them.
Yeah.
But
you can, but in a different way. And it's totally
they're showing you, here's what happened to all of us. Right. And it's like, it just broke my heart. I'm like, oh my gosh, And so we turned around and left. He's like, you okay? And I'm like, oh, because all those people. And then I found out more later on from Jeff Davis, because I did a podcast with him and we talked quite a bit before, during, after, and everything. And he's like, there's about 2,000 ships, I believe he said, that went down out there, whether they're professional or what have you.
Right.
And he goes, there was an awful lot. And so at the beginning of it, that's why he was walking down on the beach with them, the introduction to the whole thing.
Right. And I know at some point he goes to a history place and he learns about some of the ships.
They went to the Maritime Museum.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was.
I still want to go there very much. I haven't gotten to go there yet. Got close, got to the parking lot.
Ooh, fancy.
But yeah, I just felt that so strong. It was just awful. And so they show this clip of people crawling, whatever they were crawling, and I'm like watching this going, but you didn't say why. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, see, that's what I feel like. I feel like, you know what they need to do is like a behind the scenes kind of update episodes or something like that so you can learn more.
Yeah, see some of that extra footage. Well, this explains this.
You know what y'all need to do? They should do like a YouTube channel for the leftover cutting floor
That
stuff.
would be really good, because just think of some of the stuff you're missing.
Right.
And sometimes it's going to be humorous, because there is humorous stuff.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about bloopers later after we're done. But
I don't think there were any, because it was pretty serious the whole time.
Oh, so serious.
The closest it came when I was around was, you know, when Zach and I had our picture taken together, and I forget what happened, and we both busted up laughing, and that's about as blooperish as I think it got.
That's not fun. Listen, y'all don't know, but I got some crazy stuff coming soon. Maybe someone else. I'm going to be traveling all over the country to do similar but not the same.
I may sneak on with you occasionally.
But there'll be some damn bloopers up in that.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, the bloopers are a must. You got to keep it fun too, otherwise you just like wear yourself out. I feel like that's.
Oh, I was so exhausted. It wasn't funny. They actually asked me if I wanted to take the room that they had waiting for me, and it was early enough in the day. I wanted to go home. I just wanted to hear. I'm like, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, you can crash, you can go sit in the hot tub at the hotel, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but I think I want to go home. And I was wiped out because that was a lot.
That's how it was at Ghost Conference. You guys are going to see, I haven't posted it yet, it's going up probably in a couple of days. I'm going to Ghost Conference again this year. It's going to be a totally different experience. Last Ghost Conference, I was in a...
very strange.
Yeah, and I was in a really bad... It was my first ever being alone. You'll see, but I'd never been on my own before, and it was fresh out of being... I was not in a good place, and it sucked the life out of me.
And on top of it, you had all that energy around you, good, bad, ugly. You had... They were doing construction, so they had the street torn apart, the building torn apart. Yeah. It was not the normal...
And I had a lot of work done, so I had everything done. A lot of cleaning of my Reiki, my chakras. I had readings done. I had
we both went and
I was just straight. So hopefully it's different. It will definitely be a different experience this time. But that when you're done, when your energy is depleted like that, as someone with gifts, you're just fucking done. You're just like,
I went home and I walked through the door that night. And my husband's like, are you okay? And I'm like, we're going out to dinner because I just can't do it.
Okay, so they used the Ghost Box. They actually didn't use that much equipment. I was surprised because I feel like those shows use a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Being gifted, I go
out cold.
Yeah, so I don't use equipment really at all unless the group I'm not consulting for has it.
I have none.
So here's the thing, the thing I was telling you guys about that's coming, where I gotta do stuff, is a weird twist. I'm gonna have to get all the fucking equipment. And I know nothing about it. You guys are gonna have to teach me.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I've got a couple things like that EVP that I got for free that I want. Is that what it's called, EVP?
Yeah.
No, it was not EVP. It was a meter.
Electromagnetic EMF?
No. It was a meter.
Yeah.
Is it EMF meter? Yeah. Oh yeah, EVP is the voice.
Yeah.
Right? And then EMF is, okay, I got an EMF meter and it goes flat. That's all I got.
I'm gonna get a REM pod.
So that's what I was gonna ask you was because you're gifted, if you actually, you're gifted, so like me, you don't need it, but you do have like all these roles in a paranormal group, so they probably have it.
Yeah.
So do you have them, and if you don't have them, do you know how to use them all, what they all do and all that stuff?
I know how to use most of them. We have a good old time with them, let everybody else do it.
So gadgets. You guys can help me learn about them. You guys can help me obtain them and then learn what the fuck they are and what they do and then watch me not do them right for a while. So that should be fun. It's coming. But yeah, that's cool that you know them.
Turn them on.
And then what?
Talk nicely to them.
They make noises and sounds and batteries.
We'll figure out what's going to work for each.
But there's some crazy stuff out there. Yeah. Like if you're not gifted anymore, you can almost do anything now anyways. They have There's another vlog. Forget it. We'll get there. Maybe she'll have to do other vlogs with me. It'll be fun if you like her. I mean, of course you like her. You love her. They ended it. They ended the episode with some unaudible. I'm sorry, but I did not fucking hear what the hell.
Yeah.
They claimed that she said accident was how she died.
Yeah.
That was the wording that they said.
Yeah.
I played it like 50 times. I could not hear what the hell that was. But you were saying it was an accident. I assumed, strictly on the fact that she was so depressed, that she had killed herself. I knew her husband didn't do anything. But you're saying it was an accident.
She went out, it was dark. She went out and was walking, said little dog, whatever it was, and it was really windy out. And it took her, I just saw her flip, and I could see the bottoms of her feet as she went.
Did the puppers die too?
No. No, and see,
Sorry, I care more about the dog.
I told Corey this, the producer, and then when Jeff and I were talking at a later point, he said, you know, the dog was left running around. Yeah, because she was gone.
Floppy.
Yeah, and they had no clue what had happened. There she was.
So all that, and then still.
And that's what breaks my heart for her. She was like, I'm gonna fix this. This is not how we're gonna live, you know. And then that happened. It's like, that's so unfair. It was cruel, you know.
Yeah, and as for unfair, I kind of like I was kind of pissed off how it ended because, like, even in her letter she says, okay, the husband, she's like, oh, he's over there by the whatever, and that's fairly like, why are they saying that he's over there? Is it because he's watching them and he's coming? And I'm like, she just is acknowledging my husband's here. I'm writing this letter, like the way that they painted the whole situation.
And it might not have even been a flippin' letter. I don't know about you, but there have been times just to get something out, I have sat down and written.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you're
I'm a writer.
sitting there, yeah,
that's how I write
right?
everything.
You're sitting there by yourself in this house. They didn't have the music.
Absolutely. Oh, I purge everything.
She's like, I gotta get, you know, because sometimes when we hold things so deeply and then we do take them out on other people, and she had one person to take it out on.
True. That's true.
You know, and back
vice
then, unless you were the high and mighty society, women didn't do things like that. So she could have very simply sat and written.
Right. But I don't think acknowledging her husband's placement in the house means he's coming for
No.
her. So I'm
He's there. I'm here writing this letter. My husband's sitting here. He's
right. It's
God only knows what he's doing.
Just it is what it is. So I guess that was really frustrating for me. So like I felt bad for their story because it was so portrayed so differently than I felt energetically. And then the funny thing is, you were already finishing my thoughts before. So I think that has to be exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And I feel like they should have really tried to learn more before they just put it out there for the world as something.
And like
totally
I said,
different.
we don't know what else was on the cutting room floor.
We
Because I was
don't.
frustrated because me saying I had seen those people was not put there, and yet they got these people climbing rocks and stuff, but you don't know why. And her saying accident, they left it there. What she's saying accident? But nobody's saying accident.
I didn't feel like
said
anything
accident.
was wrapped up. Yeah, it was really weird.
I told them.
Yeah, it was cut. It was sort of just like cut. It was really weird.
Yeah, and Zach was like, seriously? Do you know what people have said? I said, I don't know what they've said, but I know what he's told me they've said. He's like, what did he tell you? And I told him, I'm like, he was responsible. He was responsible whether he pushed her, he killed her himself, he depressed her. I said, you know, he didn't do any of those things. It was an accident. The wind took her over. I said, they didn't have the fences back then.
Well, I mean, anytime a woman dies, they automatically look
Oh, it's the husband. Even back then, yeah. You know, and he had to hear the whispers for the rest of his life. He just wanted to be done.
But yeah, no, see, I just feel bad. I feel bad for the whole situation. And
He's okay now.
so what happened then?
We went to last year's conference. We took the long way.
What you guys don't know is Argos conference is in Seaside now.
Yep.
It used to be in Oregon City back in the day, but they moved it to Seaside.
Yep.
So,
And so
which
we
is near where
went-
she was.
I saw him upstairs in the lighthouse, and he looked out at me.
Because you couldn't go in anymore.
Yeah, because they're doing construction.
Right.
And he looked out at me, and I'm like, you can go. It's okay. She's waiting for you, and she's not mad. And he smiled, and all of a sudden I saw just this really quick, because I never get to see, just this quick white. And they were hugging each other, and they were so happy. And all I could do is stand there and cry, you know, and she put her arms around me, and I'm like, he's happy finally.
So I wonder, because crossing someone that quickly and easily, is it because he was so familiar with
He
you
was
already?
so ready to go. He wanted to go so bad. And he knew I wasn't there even the first time
Yeah.
to hurt him.
Yeah, I'm sure you were familiar with him at that point.
Yeah.
All right, well, dude,
Thank you for sitting with me.
first off, I know we should do more,
Yes, we can do this anytime.
but the house is filling up, and you're not going to
Yes, you did. So yay.
Woohoo! I was gonna get into the nitty gritty, but
We can do that another time.
okay, guys. Say bye to Wendy.
But say bye to the boo and the daddy too.
Okay, I'm gonna put all of her links below. There's a group.
They can find Ghosts and Girls Paranormal on Instagram. They can find me, Wendy Stanton-Phillips, as Ladybug on there. And if they need anything, they can contact me. I've got 3 different groups plus at my disposal.
Especially if you're in Portland.
Yep.
Cool.
And if you're someplace where you can get to and you need help, we'll do our best.
I don't do groups yet. Well, not anymore. So.
Hey, we got a good one. We're gonna have to go back on one. It was a serial killer. Yeah, buddy.
Alright, guys. Thanks for visiting. Love you so much. It was so fun. I haven't done an in-person interview yet, so yay. Tell me what you guys think down below. I'm curious how you guys like this and if you want more stuff like this. And until next time, I love you guys so much.